Alright, in today's lesson we are going to look at a feature of SketchUp which allows us to edit multiple objects efficiently. We can see here this is the outside of the dining room, the school dining room, and what we've got is we've got 4 doors here, and it will be quite time consuming for us to make each individual door, to design each door, and a quicker way would be obviously to maybe make one door and to copy and paste, but even that could be restrictive in the sense that if you copy and paste each of these and you then realize, okay, you want to make some changes, you need to delete all of these and then copy and paste them again. So today we're going to look at something called group, making groups, and this is going to help us to actually not groups, components, making components, and this is going to help us to work more efficiently. Anyway, so let's open up our document you're going to work on. You're going to work on something called Detailed Doors School Dining Room number 2, and that should be in your folder, and you should end up with something that looks like this. Okay, so what I've got is, you can see here's where the doors are going to go, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a component, and we're going to make 2 different components. So here we've got the door. We're going to make a component either by going to edit, make component, but you can see there's a shortcut for it which is G, and I'm going to use the shortcut G for it throughout this lesson. So G, I'm going to call this dining room door. Click create, and you'll see that it's sort of produced down here, and you can see it's now part of your project. Okay, I'm going to do the same with this one. Shortcut is G, and this is the window just above the door. Okay, we're going to create that. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to copy and paste these this door into these 3 areas. So I select, I can say Control C, Control V. Okay, and I move it into this space here, which is actually quite challenging to do because it's snapping into position. So we're just going to go a little bit closer and see, and it says on face. Now on the PC there's a quicker way of doing it, and I haven't figured out the Mac solution to this yet, but on the PC, if you select the object, okay, and you press move and then hold the control button down on your keyboard, you can click and drag. Okay, and you can drag those, and like I said, in Mac or using Apple products, I'm not sure how to go about doing that. Anyway, so now we've copied those across, and if you need to look at that again, just pause the video, go back a little bit, and just repeat that and just see if you can replicate that. Now, in order for me to edit this door, to make changes and to construct lines and all that, what I need to do is I need to double click on it. Okay, because if I, for example, do a rectangle on it here, you can see it doesn't affect any of the images or the doors to the right of it. However, if I double click on the door and I now add a rectangle, you'll see that it is repeated on all the other doors, and this will make things just a lot quicker. Alright, so we just click outside. We're going to undo that, Control Z. Okay, alright, let's go out again. So the first thing we want to do, double click, is we need to establish the center lines, because that's going to help us just to position the windows more accurately. So we're going to put a line here at the top. You can see it says midpoint. Okay, drag it down, it should be a green line, and it says midpoint on the other side. We're going to do the same on this side. Take it across. Okay, and you can see that it's repeating on all those sides. So if we can spend a lot of time on one door, put as much detail as we want into it, and that will help produce something which is quite, or a lot more detailed. Okay, alright, next thing we're going to do is I'm going to choose rectangle, and now I'm going to try to be as accurate as I can. I'm going to put the glass windows in the door, and it's a little bit frustrating because SketchUp obviously has a snap function, which is very useful, but sometimes it can get a little bit in the way. Okay. Now to ensure that I've got the same size window, I'm going to copy this one, and I'm going to paste it to the right. Okay, copy and paste lower down, and copy and paste across to the right. Okay, so now we've got those 4 glass windows. Now in the previous lesson we've done something called offset, and I hope you remember how to do that. Offset is this tool here on the left hand side. Looks like 2 circles with an arrow, and that allows us to duplicate an object, either to make it enlarge it or to reduce it in size. What we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this because we've got a little window and we've got a frame down here which I'd like to take advantage of. So I'm going to offset, which is either that one or F shortcut. Click on it, just going to make it a little bit smaller, and I'm going to do that for each of the windows. I'm going to try and make sure that they are the same size. Now as you can see, I've made a couple of mistakes as I do this, and that's fine as long as you make sure that you undo your mistakes rather than rectify them. So offset that one as well. I'm going to repeat that, just make sure they're the same size. Excellent. Alright, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to delete these lines. So erase. I'd like to delete these lines. Okay, there's a reason for it, and the reason for it is I want to pull this just out a little bit, not too much. Okay, now something I forgot to mention is that if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see that there is a measurement here at the bottom, which helps you to sort of gives you an indication of how far you're pulling objects, how big your objects are, etc. So I just want to keep be aware of that as much as possible. So I'm going to extend it out, and I'm going to say about perhaps 0.10. That's too much. A little bit less. 0.05 maybe? Yep, 0.05, and there we go. Okay, and then now I've got a couple of options. I could extend each one of these out, and I've got to make sure that when I do that, that I check to see how far I'm pulling it out, because I need to do the same with the other 3 frames. But I'm actually not going to do that. I'm going to show you something which is quite interesting. What we're going to do is we're going to try to put a surface which is sort of at an angle along here. We're going to see how that goes to see sort of what it produces. So I'm going to take my line tool, and I'm going to draw from this corner here to this one. Okay, now you see it wants to make another line, so just press escape because I don't want another line. I'm going to go down to the bottom here, line again, and this time from this corner to this end point here. And then if you can see it very clearly, but it makes a sort of a surface here, sort of a which gives it a little bit more detail, makes it a little bit more interesting than what we had before. I'm going to do the same here. Okay, that's a mistake. Let's try again. There we go. Do the same here. And now you can see that it's produced a window that looks something like that. Okay, and if we do it all correct, we come out, you will see that obviously not finished, but it saved a lot of time making just the one door. And what you should end up with, I'm just gonna open this, you should end up with something that looks like this. Okay, so here are my windows and everything else. Now something else we can do, which I'm going to do now, is probably more for the next lesson. Actually, your exercise now, what you're going to do next is you are going to repeat the process I've done here with these windows here at the top. Okay, to produce something similar to this. Now you can either use the same design as we've got in the dining room, which is basically four little windows, one sort of squared windows, 1, 2, 3, 4 in this space here, or you can maybe, if you want, just do 2 windows. It's up to you. You can decide how you want to design that. Now, something else which is quite interesting, which will make it a lot more detailed, is if we actually added some color to this. So we're just going to double click on that. Okay, and what we've got is a number of things. First we've got some glass here. So I'm going to click where's the paint bucket tool, which is this one up here. Looks like a paint bucket. And what we're going to do is we're going to choose glass, or should say translucent, depending on what version you're using. But this one says glass and mirrors. And let's say we're going to choose just a plain glass, and then we're going to click on these windows here, and that will allow us to look into it. Wood effect. This is a bit tricky because you can't actually see the wood on the door frames. It's actually a color, so we're just going to choose a solid color. Okay. Let's just see what this looks like. Yeah, that's fine. And what you've got to do is you have to ensure that you cover each and every area. And again, if you make a mistake, just undo. It's all good. Okay, now I noticed that I haven't done this window here, and that's fine. We can get around to that a little bit later. So if we just come out of this, all right, paint bucket tool again, and this time we're going to do brick cladding. We might actually have some stone, not roofing, stone. I think the building has a stone which looks similar, something like this. Not exactly, but it does the job. We're just going to fill that up. Okay. Normally, what I suggest you do, which I didn't do, is just to give you an idea, is to actually do the color and the texture right at the very end when you've done all the designs, because I can actually see now there's areas that I haven't finished, and there's areas I would like to improve. And once you've added your color, it's a little bit more challenging. So I'd say it's best to actually finish your design completely. Once you're happy with it, you can then produce whatever needs producing. Anyway, thanks for watching.